Okay, right, no more, no more. Stop, 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 stop. Okay, very good. Okay, microphone testing, Oriel.
Hello.
Hello, hello, microphone
Hello.
testing. Hello, hello, microphone testing. Is that working?
Hello.
Brilliant. Okay, and finally?
Hello, hello.
Okay, a big, loud, deep voice. Okay, fantastic. Okay, now I present the panel. How to internationalize your startup, best practices and errors to avoid. Okay, big round of applause and welcome please for Oriel and his team. Round of applause.
Okay.
Come on, make noise,
Excellent.
make noise, make noise.
Oh, okay, guys, I'm here. My name is Oriol Juncosa, managing partner and co-founder of Encomienda Smart Capital. I'm super excited to have here three fantastic CEOs, entrepreneurs of Europe. I think that we tried hard to have here sort of some of the best entrepreneurs and CEOs in Spain, in Italy, and in France. So starting here in my left, it's Davide Dattoli from Talent Garden, then Laura Urquizo from Red Points, and Firmin Zocchetto from Payfit. Okay, the session we'll try to make it a very practical session with regards to international, how to go international, and how to help you. Just a quick show of hands. Who here is entrepreneurs? Entrepreneurs? Any of you?
Very good.
Okay, that's good. Hey, they are also companies that sell services. Okay, so it's important. They can be your suppliers. Then, who are investors? Corporates? Okay, that's good. So pay attention. Excellent. So please, if each of you could give us a 30-sec intro on yourself and on the company, and also on how international right now is your company. That would be wonderful.
So Davide Dattoli from Talent Garden. I founded the company in Italy 6 years ago, and now we are in 8 different countries. We do co-working space focused on for tech entrepreneur and a coding bootcamp for teaching the skills needed for the market. And we're teaching at the moment 1,500 students every year. 98% of them find a job before the end of the courses.
Yes, so I am Laura, and at Red Points, what we offer to the companies is a solution to help them protect their revenues online. And how do we do this? We help them against counterfeiting, gray market, any issues in their online distribution. We detect and we remove the links offering fake products or also anti-piracy. We were international since the very, very first day, because in our case, we didn't do a geographic localization of the markets. The world is our market.
Excellent. Firmin.
Firmin Zocchetto from Payfit. Very happy to be there. We are digitalizing payroll and human resources for SMBs across Europe. So simple software where you can manage everything related to payroll, holidays, time tracking, and expenses. We founded the company 4 years ago in Paris. Now we are 400 people. We are in Barcelona, in London, in Berlin, in Paris, obviously, and soon in Milano. And we are helping SMBs all over Europe.
Excellent. Perfect. So guys, I mean, a recurring question from most entrepreneurs is, when do I start planning for international, okay? And how do I select the first countries? I mean, some people say, hey, just be very big in your home country and then think about international. What's your take on that? And how do you go about it?
So first of all, I think it's not about immediately scaling, but it's about immediately think that you have to scale. So immediately try to bring on board international people. It's very easy in Spain to have only Spanish people. The topic is try to have from the beginning also people from other markets where you will want to go in the future, because they will be the first help for you about how to scale internationally. So I think this is something that helps us a lot. Try to have international people from the beginning, also at the beginning when our business was only in Italy. And secondly, about how we choose the country, obviously we make a lot of analysis about understanding where is the best for us to enter, but at the end it's also about gut feeling and understanding where you think is better to start, because somehow it's very good to try to understand, okay, I've done something great in my country, but how I can scale it. And unfortunately about scale it, most of the time is about try to take out the people from your business and to understand how the process can work in order to scale it. And this is the most difficult things, because most of the time your business has worked thanks to you, to yourself, to your team, but it's not something that you can move in another country. Also, if you move, you don't have all the same connections. So how you make your business scalable is something that is more important than select the best country.
And in your case, your first country was?
Our second country was Lithuania, because so very, very small country in the north part of Europe. That is something that most of us doesn't know where it is. And it's very important because somehow you can test it, you can make mistakes without losing too much money because it's pretty cheap country. So try to take it one that is small enough where you can test it, where you can make mistakes, because if you make a mistake in a big market, it's a problem. If you make it in a small market, you can do it.
And in Lithuania, if you make a mistake, nobody's going to know about it, so that's good, no?
It's an amazing country.
That's right, of course, of course. Please, how did you go about sort of, you said international from day one. Well, how did you think about, or why did you go international from day one?
Yeah, so our case is very different to David. In our case, what we saw is that we're offering a solution to companies that they could benefit from that solution no matter where they were in the world. And that kind of solutions, they were typically offered to enterprise before. So our first segmentation, it was not about geography, it was about the size of the company. And we decided SMBs. And we realized that from Barcelona, we could offer the solution to any company in the world. So the first thing we did is to hire a lot of international people. And I usually say that, well, today we are 250 people of around 38 nationalities, but when we were 100, we were people from 32 different nationalities. So the first decision was to sell to any kind of company, a small and medium company, that it was no matter where. So we started selling to companies in US, we started selling to companies in Australia, in Japan, anywhere. And of course, hiring international people. We realized that our market at the end is 50% US, 50% Europe. So after selling to 14 new customers from US, I decided to open the office in New York. So it was only half a year ago when we entered the US with a physical office, and now we have two. We just opened the second one in Salt Lake City. So now we sell to the world from Barcelona, from New York, and from Salt Lake City. Barcelona now targets clients from anywhere in Europe and Australia, and the offices in New York and Salt Lake City, they target US and Canada.
Excellent. And in your case, how?
Yeah, we all have very different stories. When I co-founded Payfit, I was 22, still at uni, and payroll was a big issue in France, just in France. So we didn't think about going international, going into Spain, into Italy, or the UK. We were very focused on France, and we have so much work to do over there. We didn't have the choice, I guess. Once we saw that in France we could be a success, that customers were loving the product, that we were a great asset for them, we decided to look at other countries, and we saw that in Spain, in Italy, in Germany, people can feel the same pain. And so we told ourselves, okay, we are serving SMBs in France, why not in other countries? There are people waiting for us out there. We are not in Italy, and Davide was telling me that he was waiting for Payfit to come to Italy, so that's a good example. Thing is that if you are not international like you from day one, it's very painful to do this transition, because you just have French people talking in the office in French. You need to change that. You need to get to English. You need to stop thinking about being a French company with France and having international other countries. You know, you need to think as France being one of the country, as Italy, UK, Germany, and then having a global structure that is making some links between country and helping every country step up. So that's our story.
That's actually very interesting, because this links into how do you build an international organization, no? So I mean, just if we go a bit further into that, a number of people think about, hey, should I have sort of, Spain and international? Should I have sort of managing directors for each one of the countries? Should I have sort of more a functional organization, and then each functions of marketing would be, you have one for this country, the other one for the other country? So how do you guys approach that from an international perspective.
Yeah, once you get past 100, 200 people and that you have many countries, that's always the same question everyone is facing. I guess it depends a lot on the market you are in. In our case, it's like a matrix with both sides. You need functionals and you need locals organization. So we give the power to country manager, for example, Johan here in Spain, who is just over there, to rule Spain. And then we have also a VP sales that is ruling sales internationally. So, but this is something hard to make it work. It's really hard, but it's the best organization we have at the moment.
Okay, excellent. And in your case, how do you organize? How did you get to organizing yourself for going international? I mean, you were international from day one, but then, what's your setup like?
Yeah, so in our case, we were able to do everything remotely from Barcelona. That doesn't mean that we treat the clients from the countries, from the different countries, the same. Of course, being US, the 50% of the market, we do a lot in English. So we have all the marketing is in English from day one. And then the second language is Spanish. And not only because of Spain, but also Latam and so on. And then third are French and German and Italian. All the technological teams are in Barcelona. The marketing team is only one team doing everything and approaching all the different countries also, but with the same, I would say with the same indications, not really different ones. And of course, all the services are also located in Barcelona. What we have different is the sales teams. We have what we call squads. And since we do a lot of inside sales, we have SDRs, that they are Italian SDRs for an Italian AE. We have the French squad, that is French SDRs for the French AE, because even if you're calling remotely, the people in Europe, they want to be called in their languages. So we've approached it with the squads, language squads.
Who doesn't know what is an SDR? Anyone doesn't know? Okay, it's a sales development representative. Okay, people that are on the phone, usually calling either outbound to the clients or just calling to the leads that they have received. Okay, just for the audience. Perfect. So that's right. So then effectively you keep everything relatively global, relatively international, not too much country specific.
Yeah, the thing is, in our case, because we are not, regulation is not a very important issue, and we don't need localization. The marketing materials, the business cases, the trainings, everything comes from the one teams, but then the teams approaching, the sales teams, yes, they are squads approaching clients from different countries. And of course in US, there's no squad. We have in New York, as of today, we have 40 people. Most of them are salespeople and customer success. And in that case, they are divided by verticals.
Excellent. And in your case, how do you organize yourself?
At the beginning, obviously, the natural thing is, okay, we were very good in France, or we were very good in Italy, so you take the people and you say, okay, we take someone in other countries, but there is Italy and there is other country. And this is terrible, because obviously the problem is that somehow you give different focus to the different markets, and so the results are very bad. So what we did at the end was to say, okay, we have to take some of the smartest person that were working on the main market, Italy, and we put at a global level. And their role is to work on with all the different countries and avoid to be focused only in Italy. Obviously, this creates a little bit slowdown in your main market because you're taking out some of the smartest person, but it's necessary. And we moved to the global team, and exactly with the same organization of saying we have some central function stuff, head of sales, head of marketing, and so on, because we decided then to keep some functions centralized. We centralized digital marketing, we centralized some stuff where we've seen that the economy of scale of making all these activity together work better, but on some other we really localize. So we take very strong country managers and local team who has to make and apply all our model locally, because at the end it's a local model, it's something really based on local connection, and it's not something that you can centralize on all the operation activity and all the sales activity.
Excellent. A number of our startups also asks usually about, hey, I mean, my first clients were the people that I had in my city or around me. Now I need to go international. Okay, how do I approach the sales and marketing function, okay, for going international? I mean, meaning that, hey, do I sort of get a huge list of target companies for each country, and I have a team of 10 people starting to calling all of them? Do I start with marketing and create a little bit of boost? I mean, what's your strategy? How have you done that in this approach of outbound, inbound, marketing versus more traditional sales?
I think in our case is one of the biggest mistakes that we did. It's one of the biggest mistakes because obviously
take a note, take a note, take a note.
When you start in your country, you have personal connection, you have a lot of activity, and so the first client are the network of yourself and the people around you. When you're going internationally, this is not something that you can scale. And so the problem is that you have to create a sales strategy, because most of the time, up to that time, you sell only because you make sales, but not because you have a really a nice strategy. And so we develop really a sales strategy only when we are scaling. And this is also changing a lot the culture of the company, because you have to hire different people. Most of the time we were hiring really operative person because somehow the sales arrives. But when you are internationally, no one knows you, and you have to start developing on that. So you have to totally change the mindset of the company. And at the moment, we really believe that at the end is about marketing, obviously, but it's about outreach. Outreach is at the end the real things that bring value. People most of the time say, no, it's better to have inbound because it's way more easy to manage. But at the end, you cannot reach really good results only with without outreach.
Okay, and now yourself in this sort of mix of inbound outreach.
So I totally agree with what David is saying. Inbound only works when you already have a visibility. If you don't have a visibility, and if you don't have already like a good number of clients, for a SaaS company, I am talking about SaaS model, it's really difficult to get the leads, the number of leads that you need to provide to your salespeople only with inbound. So in our case, what has worked very well is all the outbound. So we've built a machine, we call the sales machine. We have a sales machine that we have first a group of sourcers that they look for the companies and the opportunities. Those sourcers, they pass the opportunity to the potential lead to the SDRs, the people calling, and those are the ones that try to get the meeting. And finally, the account executive is the one that sells. So it's a sales machine. And one thing that is very important is to know your numbers, your KPIs. What are the numbers that you're getting in different stage, and what is your conversion rate? Because you need to be predictable and to grow a lot. You need to have regular conversion rates that you can analyze and then you can tweak. You have to know how you can make them grow. So I think that at the beginning, for SaaS companies at least, outbound works much better than inbound.
Okay. And in your case, do you have a different opinion?
No, it's pretty much it's really funny because we also have this sales machine. I think there are two stages. You know, there's the first stage where you don't know how to sell, and this is a sort of chemistry phases, and there is the mathematical stage where you can use the sales machine. For example, in France, so at the beginning, okay, you have a personal connection. It's very easy. Accelerators, incubators, friends, families, etc. So you get to the second stage very easily, and then you have this. There's a great book, Sales Acceleration Formula, about that. But you can, you know that you can have X efforts, and that you will get Y results, and it's very mathematical. This is the second stage, but it's not that easy. But the hardest part in the beginning, it's the first stage where you don't have this formula, and you need to find it. And in each market, it's really different. For example, if I compare Spain and the UK, it's so different. In Spain, to get this chemistry working in the beginning, we needed to come and see all our prospects, customers, startups, physically, talk to them, create the relationship.
Spain.
But I mean, very physical. Go to their offices, etc. In the UK, it's totally different. It's all about marketing, PR, brand awareness. And for example, we have Revolut as a customer, and it opened like every doors for other startups. In Spain, it's a bit different. So really those two phases are very, very important, and I wouldn't try to scale or go into this mathematical approach just in the beginning when you don't have 5, 10, your first 20, 50 customers.
So would you then, guys, agree that probably sort of Spain is a bit slower and more person to person in terms of adoption of new technologies and adoption of new products, and then maybe UK and other markets are sort of more prone to inbound, to try for yourself and so forth. Is that something that it's a first summary of what you want to?
Yeah, and competition in the UK is really hard. Outbound is not that efficient. So yeah, but the needs are different. In my case, payroll is so easy in the UK. People need us for holidays, time tracking, for whole integration. In Spain, it's like in France or in Italy. Payroll is such a pain. If you automate payroll, you did a really great job. So.
I will say that in our case it's different in the sense that the cell machine, it worked from the very beginning because we were targeting markets that are very mature for this outbound call, like what you were saying. It's US and UK and north of Europe. When it comes to Southern Europe, I agree. I mean, you have to go to pay the visit, even if it is a small company.
Yeah, totally.
Interesting. And when you think, we just have 4 minutes, but I wanted to deal very briefly on international versus product development. Okay, how do you approach your product development? How do you conceptualize your products, bearing in mind that sort of you, in your case, you want to have a sort of a global platform, okay? And how is your team? How do you make your team in product development working sort of with that international mindset, so to say? I mean, any thoughts on that?
Just very quickly, we built our own programming language, the Jetlong, which is a global stuff, and it's a product for us, but not a product for our customers. And we use this language, this Jetlong language. Yeah, this is a very strange thing, but we didn't have the choice. Payroll is so complex, and we use this language to build the product in the different countries. So it's both global and both local. The language is global, and everyone in the countries use it to build the best payroll software.
So then you need your software engineers to actually learn your language.
Yeah, that's it.
Which is an interesting challenge, no?
They are not software engineers. They are engineers that became expert in our language and in payroll in their country. So this a special profile.
Interesting. Interesting.
So in our case, since we don't have the difficulty of localization, and the product is the same product for any geography in the world, what we do is we listen a lot to the clients. We are a very customer-centric company, so there's a continuous exchange of opinions with the clients to see if we have all the features that they need, to see how we can improve our performance. So in our case, it's become basic to talk to different clients from different countries and different geographies.
Interesting.
What we try to do is try to be around your market. So what we did since the beginning for ourselves, but also what we say to our client is, guys, we have 28 co-working space across Europe. We are in all the different markets. Go around, talk with people. Because the problem sometimes is that you are closing your office and you think that everything works in that way. It's not true. Being part of something like Talent Garden, but we say that also to our employee, we say, guys, if you want to develop a new product, you have the incredible opportunity of having 28 different campuses in different markets where you can go, you can meet people, talk with others that you know has the same values, the same knowledge. So try to talk with them because it's the best way to develop global product, because all the people locally will always say we have to localize. The problem is you will never scale if you localize. You have to try to centralize as much as possible, but define the mix of these two is something very, very hard.
So excellent. And finally, I just wanted to touch very briefly on investors. I mean, when you go to see investors and maybe sort of you were either not international or sort of starting to be international, okay? What was the view of investors that had on your business and on your business, meaning sort of from an international perspective, no? I mean, was there a lot of push towards being international? Was there a lot of pushback if you were not yet that international? So how do they see it?
I think early stage, you have to stay local because it's impossible to raise money at the early stage with other investors from other parts of the globe. But after a while, when you start being international, if you don't have international investors, it's impossible to scale. So stay local at the beginning, and when you are going internationally, really find international investors.
That's a good point, because since I said we are international from day zero, we have international investors from day zero.
Okay.
So it matches what you're saying. So no, in our case, the only local series was the Business Angel one, and Series A was already with Mangrove, a very well-known international fund, the first investors of Skype. Yeah, I mean, the people that we were talking are international, and they shared the same international vision.
Perfect.
Yeah, as long as you have investors that are sharing your values, we have European investors. We are all over Europe. Maybe it will change in a few years. I mean, it's the most important thing. Investors are not just about money or advices or connection. That's also about your core values.
Perfect. Okay, guys. So listen, thanks a lot for your time. It's been wonderful. A huge round of applause for them, please. And listen.